Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I nurture in me the multiple layers of who I am. So, today's another kind of quiet astro day, not too much going on. We have the moon continuing in Virgo, bringing us some mental energy. And today the moon in Virgo is connecting to Jupiter. We have Jupiter in Gemini, moon in Virgo squaring it. So when we have a square, we're not really seeing eye to eye. And it's interesting because Virgo can be quite critical. So moon in Virgo can bring out that critical nature, and Jupiter energy can be very expansive and full of possibilities. And when they work together, we can find harmony if we play devil's advocate for each other, right? So I feel like the Jupiter in Gemini devil's advocate for Virgo is like, what if? What if everything's unfolding as it's meant to be? What if everything is planned and happening by plan is actually perfectly in alignment? What if all of this is working for our good? Think of like the most butterfly, rose-colored glasses thoughts, and that can be Jupiter in Gemini. And then Virgo can be, what if we could do this better? What if that thing in there doesn't belong and we can put something in better? What if we could do it better? It can go either way. And I feel like that's our way through kind of this crossroads, is to be able to see a little bit on either side, to see the potentiality for good, the infinite possibilities that exist. We act so much like Virgos, like we know. And, you know, to be fair, we've got good logic, you know, we see patterns. It might look like that, right? But the universe can surprise us, especially when we open ourselves up for receiving that. And that's where I feel like the multiple layers of who we are come in, because your, you know, truest you might be a little bit on the critical side, or your truest you might be a little bit on the optimistic side. But I feel like it expands us when we can look from both perspectives, and that full spectrum does exist within us. Now, the other things that are happening today that are part of this, I think, we have the moon just before, I think it's happening today. It might be actually tomorrow, but it's building to this, so we're going to look at this. We're going to have the moon reaching to, just about, I think this is actually going to be happening early tomorrow morning, but we're going to be feeling it building, where we had the Virgo eclipse at 23 degrees. Depending where you live, it might be happening like late in the evening, early tomorrow, but you might feel that building. And so remembering back to, what was that date? Virgo eclipse, was it the 13th, 14th? I don't know. That's what's popping into my head, and I don't have it sitting in front of me, my little cheat sheet. But thinking back to right around that time and when that eclipse happened, I can always look it up in this. Let's see. Hold on. Hold. Yeah, the 13th, 14th, depending where you lived. So thinking back to that Virgo energy, that Virgo eclipse, and what was coming up for you in that energy, and connecting to yesterday's scope, what energies have bubbled up for healing since then? And connecting it as well to Venus, which is just about to go direct in just a few days, is almost to the 23rd degree, which is where the sun was for that Virgo eclipse. So it's bringing us back through some of these layers today to approach it in a different way. And again, the approach might be this way, the approach might be that way, but see if you can approach whatever's coming back around in a different way. I find that so often when I'm frustrated by the same cycles happening over and over and over. When I can shift myself, somehow these situations shift. Even though these situations are not my fault. I didn't do that. But when I shift myself, somehow they're changing. And so there's power in that. Now, the other thing that we have going on today is the sun opposite Lilith. We have the sun in Aries, Lilith in Libra. And I feel like this keeps kind of coming around for us as well. And it's part of releasing the people pleaser. And I think that that might be one of the patterns. And here's a what if for that. What if releasing your people pleasing actually pleases people more? Not the reason to do it. What if releasing your people pleasing helps align your life for the better, and therefore everybody else's around you? There's so many different what ifs, but watch for that, and watch for where that might be a place where you're being called to notice and release your patterns, and notice and what if yourself through it. So let's look at these cards. We got some mental energies going on in these cards. So we have these mental energies. We have the fighting card. We have the stress card, which always feels like a mental card to take your monkey for a walk. And we have the burden card. So our mind is just feeling a little messy. And again, with Moon in Virgo, Pluto in Aquarius, and Mercury just newly direct, hanging out with the North Node, hanging out with Saturn, hanging out with Venus. There's a lot of mental shenanigans, and I think we're processing so much more than we actually realize. So be aware of this going on under the surface. And yet the universe is like, don't worry, you've got this. You're ready for this. What are you going to create with this? How are you going to take this energy and use it to forge something beautiful for yourself? But also, take it easy. Slow down, ground in. You don't have to get it done and figured out all at once. So some really interesting energies. I think sometimes as well we can try to be people pleasers. Thank you, Mercury direct, for being harder on me than Mercury retrograde has been. I think sometimes we try to people please the universe, and the universe does not accept that. The universe wants you to be your uiest you. So watch for that in this unfolding energy as well, because that's an interesting other layer that we may have popping up for us. The card from Divine Abundance is receiving, and it says, every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. And I think that's about what if. What if we are receiving our highest divine plan and our work is just to find our natural aligned flow with it? What if? Anyways, that is it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com, if you would like to dig into your own chart, get your own cards. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and may your guiding light be strong, and know that you can trust your process. Namaste.